So is it Balgobin? Is that how you say your name?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
And she is a sleep and dream coach. So maybe, well, would you like to start by just saying a bit about your story, how you got to be where you are today, and also, yeah, what it is exactly that you do?
Well, as you say, my name is Sheila Balgobin. I'm a sleep and dream coach, and I'm also known as the dream decipherer. And how I came to be that was that I wasn't made a dream decipherer. I was born that way, fifth generation dreamer, with the gift of dream interpretation. So it's something that's always been a part of me from a very young age. It wasn't until I was about 8 years old that I actually realized that dreams meant something. Um, but dreams always been a part of my life. And despite going into banking for some 20 years, I had never lost my connection with healing, from which I had had since young. So was during the time I was a banker, I was training in various therapies, and eventually became a full-time holistic therapist, delivering therapy programs to local communities here in London. I did that for about 15 years and then decided to strike out on my own. But the working with dreams on a consistent basis hasn't happened, didn't happen overnight. It was something that I actually avoided kind of dealing with in an open way. Growing up, um, I was a bookworm, and I didn't like playing with dolls and doing silly things like that. So to actually say that I've worked with dreams was really going to put me beyond the pale. So it was something I just kind of shied away from, or just dealt with on a private basis with people. But an experience that I had because of dreams convinced me that that was the path that I needed to follow. Um, and it's only been officially this year that I've kind of really planted my flag and said, this is who I am, and this is what I do. But it was a real turning point in my life. If I hadn't listened to my dreams, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because I would not be here, quite possibly. So
So so you had this dream, and that inspired you to take action. You realized that this was your calling.
well, yes, or maybe more accurately is to say that it inspired me not to take certain actions.
Yeah.
What had happened was, I had gotten married here in London, and the Home Office decided that, well, to get your proper leave to stay, you need to leave the country and come back again. So I had to go back to New York. And while I was,
Where did you say, New York?
yes, I'm originally from New York.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yes.
I thought I detected an accent, but I wasn't quite.
Oh, well, you're polite. Most people are like, you
Okay.
still have an accent. Like, I'm supposed to park it someplace. But during that time that I had returned to New York, I was trying to get a visa for my husband to join me. And all my efforts just didn't work. They came to naught, and it was very frustrating. But during that time, I was having these terrible dreams. I mean, I would literally wake up shaking and in a cold sweat. And it was about shipwrecks and ships going down at sea, and it was just like, what on earth? I'm not going on a ship anywhere. I don't know anybody going on a ship anywhere. What is this about? And the dreams, just every single night, I mean, I was losing sleep over this dream. It was absolutely awful. But in the course of this, as I said, I was applying for my husband to join me in New York. But finally, I got to so exasperated. It was just like, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. I'll just pack it in and return to London myself, apply for the visa. The visa came in 3 days. I kid you not. I mean, it was just like, what? So all the months that I spent trying to get my husband to New York, in 3 days, I got a visa to return to the UK. And the dream stopped.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
So I moved to London. That was at the end. It was just around the time of the millennium.
Okay.
in 2000. I moved to London, get settled in. I'm working in the city as it happens for a banking company. And but I had recently started working at a GP surgery close to home. I came home, I went back to the GP surgery after lunch, and people are running around, they're screeching and they're carrying on. I'm like, what on earth is going on? What the hell is happening? And all I could hear was tower, hit, plane. I was like, what? My brain just stopped working at that point. I used
9/11.
I used to walk through the towers every single day
Yeah.
as a stockbroker.
Yeah.
In fact, another bullet I dodged was Lehman Brothers. I left them before the meltdown occurred. So
Yeah.
I got it was, if I hadn't listened to those dreams, I could very well have been caught up in all of that because I worked, like I said, I went through the Esplanade under the towers every
Yeah.
day, every single day.
Well,
So it was a real wake up call. It was like, you definitely need to have a change of career at this point. So I did some additional training, including becoming qualified as a psychotherapist, because people have been telling me these stories all their lives.
yes.
So it's like I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah.
And at that point is when I started to really become more involved in healing work. Like I said, I worked as a holistic therapist for a small charity for 15 years,
Yeah.
running lottery funded projects. And then it was just time for me to move on.
Okay.
And that's that. Now that it sounds like it was a straightforward journey, it hasn't been either. But now I'm in a place where I know who I am. I know what I need to be doing in this life. And now it's just a matter of doing that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's great. So many people I speak to, they started off in some sort of corporate career, myself included. I used to be a chartered accountant, and it's so much more satisfying and fulfilling, working for ourselves, and also especially when there's an aspect of helping people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, we may have even run into each other when I was working for the charity, because we were always, looking for funding from local councils and what have you. So we may have known each other in another life.
That's right. Who knows? So I'm just going to share my screen. Beautiful as the backdrop. Is that your garden? Looks like. So
no, this is actual foliage.
So this is real foliage. Yes, it's not one of these fake screens.
No.
So I can see there's a field behind it as well. So you're like really
nice.
There, yeah. So okay, let's share the screen. So this is your LinkedIn page.
Yep.
And then I can see, so it's got a contact info, and then it's got, I think some of these links don't work, so try clicking.
Yeah, I may need to clean them up again, because I've recently, I have a new website, so things are being transferred over.
Oh, really?
So,
okay. Oh, that's
so which is why I need to go in there. I know, and clean it up.
Because I found this, you linked to this one, the mentoring program.
Right, which is where I'll be leaving that organization soon. After 11 years, I'm turning over the reins to someone else.
Okay, that sounds good. And also this book of poetry that you wrote.
Yep. I have a new book coming out now, which is about my journey to becoming myself as a dream decipherer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, if you look up my name, or click on my name, you should see the other books as well.
Not yet.
Let's see.
Maybe.
Click on the author name. No.
No, I've just done.
Oh, okay.
Book results for Sheila Hicks Balgobin.
Maybe for that link, but it should be. There's 4 books, so it should be there.
Maybe you always use, is that Hicks as well, or is it?
Oh, I just look at Sheila Balgobin.
Oh, okay, that's why. It's because.
Yeah.
And then Wide Awake.
Because I can't change the name. That's the newest one. Wide Awake. I mean, I'm doing
comes out on the 19th of July. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing 2 launches actually. On July 11th, which was the anniversary of my mother's birthday.
Okay.
I will be launching the paperback version. And on July 19th, which is the final day of my 10 days of celebration,
Right.
I will be launching the Kindle version at that promotional price of $1.99 that you see.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. So you said you had a new website?
Yes, and
What?
it's SheilaBalgobin.com.
It's not this one, awakenthegoddess.co.uk.
No. That was for a festival that I was
The
involved in.
festival.
Yeah.
So it's just SheilaBalgobin.com.
.com. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, I was wondering because I looked at your profile and I saw these other pages, but I thought you must have a website somewhere.
Yeah, I
So
do.
that's,
So yeah, well, thank you for that. I will go into among the 5,000 other things I need to do.
I know. Well, I'm the
I'll
same. I've got
take
so much stuff out there, and I'm always changing them. It's hard to keep.
Yeah,
Right.
it's that's why I said I really need to get myself into a position where I can have a VA again to take care of this stuff.
Yes.
I just like creating material and working with clients. I can't
Yeah.
be asked.
I
And
know.
this is the first time I've actually paid somebody to do my website for me, to design it for
Yeah,
me,
it's a nice
because
website. Yeah.
I've done it in the past. I've created about 5 websites, but it's like I don't have time or energy right
No, I know. That's great. So I'm just looking at some of the things. This is your Facebook page.
now. Hmm.
So wow, you've got well, 3,500 people like this.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So how did you get all those followers to your Facebook page?
Well, I had various pages over time, and they all kind of, been merged into the one page. But what has happened is that I belong to a number of groups that are very active. I mean, several groups. I've started getting rid of groups that I don't really deal with anymore, and a really good support network. So between family and colleagues and what have you, I've really been able to build up a following. I mean, I did, I think, an ad here, an ad there, but I mean, yeah, it got people at least reading my material. Not that they bought anything from me or anything like that, but
No.
at least they like me.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but it's been a process over the years, really, about just building up that audience, doing lives, doing posts, doing different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Good evening,
Oops.
welcome.
These are all your videos. And
Mhm.
Pinterest. And I was speaking to someone the other day.
Yeah, I'm on there as well.
Yeah, and she said her favorite 2 platforms were LinkedIn and Pinterest. And I
Yeah.
can see you've got 33,000 monthly unique viewers on Pinterest as well.
Yeah.
So this is so which is your, out of all your different platforms and websites and so on, which is the, if you only have one, which would be your favorite one as like a source of traffic and leads?
Well, I mean, I think ideally it would probably be LinkedIn, and that's something I want to work on more.
Yes.
Because it's more B2B, if you will, than the other platforms.
Yes.
Um, there, I think, particularly if I can really hone my message properly,
Yeah.
it would afford me the best response, because what I see, the people that would best benefit, I mean, everybody sleeps. So, I mean, everybody technically is a potential client.
Yeah.
But what has been presenting themselves to me lately have been women, business women, who are stressed. And,
Right.
whether they're single or whether they're married and have kids or not, they're finding, as they're as small business people. That's one of the people who was on a course with me, Shireen. She was on my dream interpretation course, and will actually be one of my interviewees during my book launch. Um, so that's what's been presenting. So women, who are, like I said, running their own businesses and trying to run their lives at the same time, and finding that they're having problems sleeping. And the reasons for that can vary, whether it could be as part of menopausal symptoms, it could be because of pressures at home, it could be any number of things. And what I have found is like working through with them, okay, well, let's do a free assessment, which I offer, of what your sleep is like. And from there, either determine, like, well, either it may be worthwhile for you to check with your doctor about this, but here are some practical things that you can do for yourself, for self-care that may improve the situation without a whole lot of fancy stuff or things that will work gently but effectively. So that's where things are at the moment. I think that is a group that would benefit in particular.
Yeah.
Another group are therapists, psychotherapists, and counselors who actually work with people's dreams.
Yes.
Now, some of them will be Jungian trained and will have had years and years of analysis themselves and whatnot, and proper, Jungian training around working with dreams. But there may be counselors who have not had that kind of training, and I think learning how to understand how to crack the code of people's dreams, because every person is different and every dream is different.
That's right.
But there's a way of approaching the dreams in such a way that you can decipher what's going on. And I devised a course, an online course, to help people do just that. Not only to sleep better and to have more mental clarity, but to be able to process those dreams in a methodical way, to be able to pull out the information that they contain.
Yeah, so if someone just comes to you and they says, this is my dream, is that enough information for you to interpret it? Or do you need to know a lot more about their lifestyle and...
Not necessarily. It depends on how I'm working with the person. If I'm doing more in-depth work, and I have packages where I work with people in more in-depth way, perhaps because there may be some kind of deep-seated trauma and you just can't pick that and leave it. But if in general, in fact, on Thursdays, that's what I do every week in a live. On Facebook, it's called Crack the Code Thursdays. And what I do is people will submit ahead of time dreams, and then I will decipher them.
Is that on this page here?
You can find it on there, yeah, but the recording goes through my profile page, but you can find it on pretty much every page that I have.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, is it on this page or
hang on, go scroll down.
Yeah.
Keep going. And there's another. There's one. You just passed one.
This?
That's it. Slip into Sleep Sundays. On Sundays I focus on sleep. And on Thursdays,
so we have to go back to Thursday,
to the previous Thursday. Yeah.
There we go. Is that it?
That should. Yeah. That's
Sleep into Sunday. That's an advert for Sleep into Sundays.
Yeah. And the Thursday. Yep.
Dream to this one.
Okay, so that's just the announcement, and after that.
So if I go up.
Yeah. That's post I
did. The watch party.
Or you can look at that one. I mean, that's one you can click.
But
there.
I'm more interested in the speaking for myself in the slip into sleep, because sometimes I have problems sleeping, and sometimes I go to sleep okay, but what will happen? Like I wake up at in the night, and then often to go to the toilet, and then sometimes when I go back, sometimes I can go back to sleep, but sometimes it's hard to get back to sleep then.
Okay. Now there are things that when I do these free assessment sessions, the slip into sleep sessions, we look at that, and there I take a little bit of information, what's going on. Did you have a fight with your boss? Is your business having problems? Did you have a fight with your wife? Did your dog die? All of
Yeah.
those things can have an impact on what our sleep quality is like. There may be other things in terms of health, in terms of diet. If someone is overweight, it could cause them to develop like a sleep apnea like condition, or snore more. Or, so there are different things that can be looked at. And then I would give some suggestions for simple suggestions that can perhaps bring some temporary relief, or even resolve the problem, depending on what it is. So I may recommend that, okay, this sounds like something a bit more serious. You really need to check with your doctor and perhaps get a sleep test done or something.
Yes,
so, yeah.
but I think sometimes a lot of doctors overprescribe sleeping drugs, don't they?
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real problem. I mean, if you get 15 minutes with your doctor these days, you're getting a lot. If you can get them at all now, because they're not even seeing people in the surgery. And I worked in a GP surgery near home for 7 years. So, I mean, I'm pretty much familiar with how routine is. So they have rely heavily as a result on medications, and then people unfortunately have this attitude of fix me. I don't want to have to do any work. I don't want to have to make any effort. I just want you to fix me. And so that kind of feeds into that, give them a pill and send them on their way mode, that doctors, because they have so little time and so much paperwork and so much red tape to deal with, that they just, follow the law of least effort. And you can't really blame them. But on the other hand, when you look at the opioid epidemic in the United States, and it's a growing epidemic here, overprescribing is a real problem. I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago now, this is more than 10, 15 years ago that I heard this. There was a doctor, a GP here in the UK, who struck himself off the NHS. The reason why? He was also not only a GP, but he was also a homeopath. Right. And so for simple, minor ailments and whatnot, he would give homeopathic remedies to his patients. They loved it. They loved him to death.
Yeah.
But the prescribing agency comes up to him and says, you're not prescribing enough. He says, but my patients are all well. They're doing great. I mean, they don't need, you're not prescribing enough. They harassed him so much about not prescribing drugs that finally he said, you know what, I'm packing this in. I'm forget this. And became a full-time homeopath, because he said it was just disgraceful to actually be to the point of wanting to prosecute almost.
Wow.
Because he wasn't prescribing. So what kind of madness is that?
Yeah.
So, it's the kind of thing, what my thing is, I don't try to make people's minds up for them. What I do is present them, this is what is here available in, standard Western medical practice. Yeah. And these are alternatives that you might want to consider. Sure. And let them, make that decision.
Well, I personally think, for sleep, I mean, I read this book about, I think it's called The Effortless Sleep Method or something. And she was on these drugs, sleeping drugs, for years. And she was just saying how terrible they were, and how they made her feel terrible. And she was so happy when she got off them. So I just want to show you something else, because you said, I think, that your main, out of all the platforms, your favorite one is LinkedIn.
Well, Ed, like I said, it's one that I want to use more. I mean, Facebook is what I started out with, and built that up over a number of years. But LinkedIn, in terms of my business, I think is a much better platform in terms of actually using it to make a living.
I agree totally. I get most of my leads off LinkedIn. Now I can see here that you're quite active, like you posted here, and also you comment a lot on other people's posts, which is really good. So that's great.
Yeah, it's good for the algorithm.
It's good for the algorithm. Whether it gets your name out there and someone might follow the other person and see it. But I just want to show you something else, which is, are you familiar with this software, shieldapp.ai?
No.
I came across it. I was speaking to someone, Melanie Koshot, a few days ago as part of my show, and she told me about this. But it's brilliant software. And what this does is it gives you analytics for your LinkedIn posts. So these are all my LinkedIn posts year to date, and I can sort by views.
Right.
So I can see this top one had 2,157 views. And I can, and also tells you here, like how many hashtags you used, how many links, and how many emojis you had. So, and I realized by doing this that a lot of my posts didn't really have enough hashtags. And then I started looking into hashtags, which I hadn't really used before, because I noticed you use the hashtag here, make your dreams.
Yeah, I mean, and I got that. There's a program that I use called Hashtag It. So that I'll put in, a subject or keyword or whatnot, and it will show you what the latest.
So this one,
trending hashtags are.
Hashtag an Indian one.
No, that's not it.
No. It's just that you can tell. You can tell on LinkedIn how many people follow that hashtag, because if you just search on it.
Well, I'd be happy if you send me that link. It'll certainly be interesting to look at. Yes. And find out.
So because this one, make your dreams a reality, 68 results. So 68 people follow this hashtag now. Whereas the other hashtags, so for example, dreams, that has 7,000 followers, but something like sleep has 91,000 results. No, it's 160,000 followers. So I would say you're much better if the post is anything to do about sleep. I think it's much better to use that hashtag, because you're exposing.
I mean, I do use sleep. I have used sleep. Yeah.
I would use three hashtags.
But, I use sleep, sleep better, and I think sleep problems better, or something like that. So.
But I think it's worth doing the ones because a lot of people don't go through this process. Like Sleep Better only has 102 followers. So I wouldn't have thought that's worth it. So I think it's useful to go through this to find the ones with a lot of followers, because otherwise you could potentially be wasting a hashtag. Sure. That's something that I've just started doing, and there are lists of top LinkedIn hashtags which I've started doing, and I try and most popular.
Because
Innovation has 37 million followers.
This one that I use, let me just see if I can, hold on a minute, see if I can find exactly what it is. Oh my gosh, let's look on. Let's see. I'll tell you exactly what the link is called. Where are you?
See, health.
It's oh, here it is. It's called #it. www.hashatit.com.
The thing is, though, the LinkedIn, you'd use a different hashtag on Instagram compared to LinkedIn, because it's a totally different audience.
Yeah.
Oh, does it give you ones for each? Okay, it tells you. Does it, or does it mix them all up together? So it doesn't tell you which ones.
Well, you can. I mean, you can filter it so that you can. If you just
hasn't got a link in there, that's not one of the filters. That's not one of the
filters.
So all it does is it just gives you examples. Well, these are not hashtags easy, it just finds that word in different posts, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
trending. It's telling you what keywords and whatnot or hashtags are trending at a given time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's up to you. But anyway, that's what
You
I
know, I
do
mean,
with my
like I said,
posts.
I'm always willing to learn something new that's going to make my life easier. So if you send me the link, you
Oh,
know,
no, which to? Well, this analytics I think is great because you
yeah,
can really analyze your posts and you can say why did that one get more than the other one.
right,
Um,
okay.
so, and what I found was like my top post was this one, which was about this book, which is it's an amazing book, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. But because obviously a lot of other people like that book, so I'm tapping into their audience and they start commenting because of that. And my second best one was actually one about America because and the reason all I did, I just shared this article, but because it's got a question. Mnuchin says the US economy will rebound in just a few months instead of years. Do you think he's right? And just because I asked that question, do you think he's right? I got all these people commenting on it because it's quite a controversial issue as well, something that people feel quite strongly about. And yeah, out of all the posts I've done, 154 posts, that was my second one, just because I did the question. So yeah, it's really interesting when you start analysing like that. All right, well, we're coming up to about half an hour, so it's been lovely to speak to you.
Yes,
So I wish you all the best with your work and your new book and
thank
everything.
you.
So yeah, it's been lovely meeting you. So
Yes, it
all
was. Thank
right
you
then,
so much. It
and
was
I'll
nice to
tell
sit outside in the
nice to sit
sunshine.
outside as well, and I'll message you that link. All right then,
Brilliant.
bye for now.
Thanks so much and have a great rest of the day.